So basically, just to recap everything that happened up until this point, on the 5th, I was scheduled for a DNC. Basically what that is it's a outpatient surgery to go into the girl bits and clean out the part that normally one would shed every month. Because in my case, it's too thick. And so it has the chance of turning abnormal due to that. Which I was already aware of that from, like, you know, being back, like, 2009, 2010, somewhere in there, where, you know, I was told that that's what the abnormal bleeding was from. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and you need to clean that up because, you know, you don't want it getting too thick and then gaining sentiency and then crawling out and getting a job and, you know.
Well, if it got a job, that would help pay for impending medical bills. But it's
it's not like it's going to give you the money.
Well, of course not. It's fucking cancer. It can go fuck itself. Spoilers, I have cancer. So we scheduled that. Apparently, I wasn't aware of this, but apparently DNCs are normally used for miscarriages.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea until, like, my coworker was like, you miscarried? She, like, said it really loudly, too, and I'm just staring at her like, what? No. I'm like, and even if I did, how's that your business? Anyway.
Even if you did, why does that need to be yelled to the heavens?
Right. But I guess she was just so shocked that I was possibly pregnant. And I'm like, I am in the asexual spectrum. I've not ever done anything like that. So, yeah. Pretty sure I'm not pregnant, thus I can't miscarry. So I took time off to have that, and the boss was very nice. She gave me the 5th off and the 6th off. So I had plenty of time just to rest and recover, make sure everything was good. And of course, by the time I was, even before I went into surgery, the doctor's like, I'm going to send it off to biopsy just to make sure, you know, nothing is serious outside of basic polycystic tumors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, just follow up in about a week or two, and we'll go from there depending on what the biopsy says. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, it's cool. And was really nothing of concern. That kind of thing can be typical, especially since I have family history of such things. So, I mean, nothing really to worry about at this moment in time. And then I went to the doctor on the 14th, and he had taken out 3 polyps. The first 2 polyps weren't really anything to be concerned about. The third came back as atypical, which means precancer. He basically went over a list of options that I could possibly face, but since he's not a cancer doctor, he's like, I'm going to refer you to a doctor I've worked with before over at UT. And for those who don't know, I live in Tennessee, about 30 to 45 minutes depending on traffic from Knoxville, and the hospital, the University of Tennessee hospital, it's like the big hospital in this area. So we scheduled that for today, which is the 25th of June. And so I had my neighbor, she was very kind, took me all the way to UT. Took a little bit of navigating because if you're not familiar with Knoxville or UT, and I wasn't, and she at least knew how to get there, but we were in like a completely different part than she's ever been in, it took us a few minutes to figure out where we were supposed to be going. But apparently they have a specific building called the Cancer Institute, just for cancer stuff. And so I went, and I got my registration and stuff done, and we talked to the doctor, and he basically was very nice and polite. The nice thing about all of it, he's like, I'm sure your doctor has talked to you about this, but I'm going to pretend like you know absolutely nothing and just go over everything to make sure you follow me and understand what's going on. I'm like, yeah, okay. So basically we covered everything I've already said, and then he's like, and so then came your biopsy results. He's like, I've had a look at them, and there is no question, along with the pre-cancer, you have the beginnings of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I understand. And he's like, you got two options. The easiest and the one I would recommend to just get rid of the cancer outright and never have to worry about it again would be a hysterectomy.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you wanted to, for whatever reason, like keep your chance of having kids, he's like, I would prescribe something and then you'd come back in 6 months and be re-biopsied and see if it's fixed the problem or not. He's like, if it doesn't fix the problem, you're going to have a hysterectomy anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, just for the people who didn't know, because when you told me about the possibility of hysterectomy the other day, I had to look up what it was. But it's basically ripping the plumbing out, right?
Yeah. So basically, I can't make babies once that is a thing that happens because it's all going to be sucked out of me.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Was that part of your plan for life, or?
Well, you know, as I was telling, I think it was the nurse who was going to schedule my hysterectomy.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I told her, because she, you know, asked me, she's like, let's talk about the whole kid thing, you know, just to get a sense of your thoughts. And I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I've never really seen it as something that is gonna happen. I've never seen it as something as isn't gonna happen. I've always been kind of like, well, if I'm gifted with babies, great. If I'm not gifted with babies, it's fine. Personally, I don't think I'd make a great mom anyway.
Oh, come on.
I'm too self-focused.
Just like other people's mothers weren't. Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I am 34. No, wait. Am I 34 now or am I gonna be 34? I'm one of the two.
I was hoping you'd know.
I was born in 84. I think I'm gonna be 34 is what it is. I'm gonna be 34.
Okay. So, it's about that time in your life where you figured out whether or not it was a big deal.
Yeah.
For you, and it doesn't sound like it's all that big of a deal.
Yeah. I had already decided, like, long before I knew anything about the whole cancer thing, that if I had the option, honestly, considering that I already knew what risks and things there possibly were if something went wonky down there, I just go ahead and want a hysterectomy. I mean, it's not really going to be a big loss to me. Like I said, I'm almost at the age where having babies isn't a good idea anyway. Not impossible, but not really a good idea. You know, on top of the, you know, family history of issues, might not be good to be pregnant anyway, considering all the stuff I've now learned about myself. I didn't really want to know, but the doctor has told me.
I mean, if you were in your 20s, I'd advise, you know, really pondering it before you made an absolute decision. But
yeah. Well, I've thought
at 34, you pretty much figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it off and on since late 20s, I think, maybe. I mean, my mother had a similar situation, but hers was she was bleeding nonstop, and if she hadn't received any help, she would have died from blood loss.
Mm. And even if at some point you find yourself with a partner and you decide you want to have the experience of raising children, there are so many kids looking for adoption that you can have that experience without blowing out your insides.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, it's like I told my brother, because my brother expressed that he wanted to have his own kids eventually, but he's 10 years older than me. And, you know, I kind of had to break it down to him. I'm like, Ray,
yeah, what are you waiting for?
Well, that, and I'm like, Ray, most people our age now already have kids. They're not looking to have more kids. And in fact, having more kids probably is not a great idea considering how old we are.
Right. Well, he'd be 44 then. What were you expecting to God, you'll be in your 60s when the kids are
right.
at the right age, really fucking with you.
Yeah. And I mean, not to say that couldn't be a possibility and work out fine. It's just not really a good idea, medically speaking. I mean, your risk factors heavily increase, and so on and so forth. But anyway, I've never really been interested in, like, not that, again, it's not that I'm opposed to kids or I'm opposed to, like, finding a significant other and making, like, certain life commitments with that person, but I've said on the show, I think before, that I'm demisexual, which is an aspect of asexuality. Mm. So I'm just not looking.
That doesn't tend to lean towards children.
Yeah. I mean, again, not that I'm opposed to anything, but I'm not actively looking to do anything to gain those things. Again, I'm more of a mindset, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, oh well. I'll be like I am right now. A crazy cat lady living in a no-bedroom apartment.
Well, all right. So we talked about that, but were you going to continue from talking to the nurse about your options?
Yeah. So basically, I conveyed this to her. So she's like, "Yeah, you've already pretty much made up your mind, and you don't want to take time to think about it anymore." I'm like, "Nah, let's just go ahead and do it, because I'd rather just not have to worry about, the cancer spreading or becoming worse or anything like that. Let's just go ahead and get it done, because I'm not gonna miss it because I'm not doing anything with it." She's like, "All right." So basically what the doctor told me is going to be similar to my gallbladder surgery. And I was like, okay, I'm following so far. Basically, they're going to put 5 holes in like my stomach area to, once they disconnect everything, it's going to be pulled out through the vagina. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry if that's a little TMI. I'm just, telling you what they told me.
No. You're good.
And,
well, no, you're fine.
So basically, he told me that apparently that's such a common procedure now that it's going to be outpatient. He's like, you might need to stay a night over. He's like, but you'll probably just go home right after. And I was like, okay, cool. So what about work after that's a thing? And he's like, well, what do you do? And so I explained to him, I'm like, I work at a thrift store. I'm standing all day. I'm not allowed to sit down unless I'm on break or lunch. I'm lifting, sometimes some really heavy stuff or bags. I'm moving all the time. It can be like very much like, intense exercise where I go home and I'm like, I gotta take something because I am sore and exhausted. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna be out for like a month. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, really? And he's like, yeah, it's gonna be about 4 to 5 weeks. I'm like, oh, okay. Damn. I'm kind of screwed because, I only have enough sick pay, I think, for like 2 days. And I'm gonna be out for an entire month or so.
They're not gonna be able to give you any paid leave or anything? Or no, medical leave?
No. I mean, they'll probably, like, let me take the weeks off, but unless I have, unused vacation hours or, sick hours, I'm not gonna get paid. So I'm kind of screwed on that end.
Right.
So, but the nice / kind of bad, but I think it works in my favor considering that. Apparently next week, that doctor I went to see today, he's going on vacation to Scotland. And
okay.
He's going to be gone for a month. So I'm not going to have this surgery until August.
Okay, so you got a little time to save your pennies.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to do my best not to miss any work so that I can at least have 4 hours or so of some vacation saved up. And I'm not sure how much that equates to sick pay, saving up for sickness, but hopefully I'll have a little bit more of something. I was just saying to my coworkers today, because I stopped in to tell my boss, about all this stuff that I'm gonna have done. That had I realized that I would be out for that long, I wouldn't be on vacation now. I would have saved it.
Well, it's not like you can really plan for this sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was a possibility, but again, I didn't know, like, how long I was actually going to be out. I figured maybe a week or two, not an entire month, and possibly an extra week on top of that, depending on everything.
Well,
so that was a bit shocking, honestly.
Mm-hmm. The recovery time was more shocking than
the fact I had to do
having your insides on the outside.
Yeah. Well, they won't be outside. They'll just not be in at all.
Mm-hmm.
But because I figured it was when he told me it was outpatient, and I was like, oh, okay, so it'll be similar to when I had the gallbladder, which I was out for a week after the gallbladder surgery, and then I went for my post-op, and the doctor's like, yeah, you're good, you can go back to work, just remember you can't lift anything over so much pounds. And I'm like, okay, I could do that. And I had that restriction for a month, so I figured it would be similar to that. Like, I'd probably be out a week or two, and then I'd have a weight restriction for a month or so, and then I could go back to doing things as normal.
Mm-hmm. Well, crap.
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought I was having problems, but no.
Well, on the plus side, I guess I'm gonna have a lot of time to myself, and that means working on videos, working on art, trying to get some stuff done for BIP, because I won't be able to do anything else.
Yeah. I'm happy to help you when I can. But,
thank you.
Yeah. But, we'll keep me up to date on the situation. Maybe I can do another round of commissions to help you out when the time comes. But yeah, I'll do something. I'll figure something, or at least to be helpful. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what all this is going to cost, obviously, but it's probably might be a lot more than what the gallbladder surgery was, and the gallbladder surgery was like $34,000.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still trying to pay that off.
Yeah, well, the missing time from work alone is going to be...
Yeah. I got 3 paychecks between now and then. So, because, yeah, she said probably around the 1st or 2nd week of August would be when I have the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go for a pre-op, let's see, she said about the 4th Thursday of July. Let me have a look here. So like the 26th in July, I have to go, do like an orientation thing, it's talking about the stuff I already know, which is when you're, put to sleep, you have the possibility of death from the anesthesia alone.
Right.
But then I gotta go and do all, she's like, I'll just schedule it the same day that you go do that, and then you go do all your pre-op stuff. And I'm like, okay, yay, I get to do more pre-op, how fun. But, it's just kind of a pain because I have to go all the way to UT and I don't drive or anything like that.
Yeah, no. But, it's...
Yeah.
Well, it's cancer. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, I could go to the local place, but I mean, if he felt so strongly of me going to UT as opposed to the local hospital, I'd rather do what the doctor thinks is best.
Yeah, probably. And you can argue with your mechanic. You can't really argue with your doctor.
Yeah. Well, my neighbor was glad to take me, but I think she's getting sick that family isn't the one doing all this, and I'm like, I can't really help it. The family decides to do their own thing, and I'm just kind of like, well, all right, if you won't come hang out, I can't make you.
Yeah, that's a bit upsetting.
But not really much I could do about that because I just don't really associate with my family, and they don't really associate with me.
Mm-hmm. So you'd think in time of crisis, family would come together, but
Nah.
Yeah. So I'll ask you this: going back to something's wrong, you go to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
you do the test, and he comes back, and go back to that moment when he said, "Well, you have cancer."
Honestly, I was expecting it when they were telling me that there were polyps in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, my mother had a similar issue. I don't really remember much about it because I was young at the time, and that was I don't think I was like young, like I was still in elementary school, I don't think. But I don't think I was that far into middle school, because when she told me she needed me to call the ambulance, I was too upset and freaked out to actually do that for her. So she's like, well then get me the phone and I'll do it. And I was terrified to death.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of expected it because again, cancer's all over the family. Any kind of cancer you could think of, my family's probably had it.
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, I just knew it was going to be a matter of time. I just figured, honestly, I thought it was going to be more like when I was in my 50s. Because that's when my aunt got breast cancer, and it's also when my mother got breast cancer.
Well, this isn't even the breast cancer, though. There's no guarantee you're not going to still get that.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, cancer is something I expected to happen. I didn't know if it would strictly be breast cancer, but I did know from, like 8 years ago that there was the possibility for uterine cancer. So, I mean, again, I wasn't like, oh my god, what the hell's gonna happen to me kind of thing. I mean, there was still like, okay, what happens now? Slightly anxious about that because I don't know anything about this type of cancer. I know more about breast cancer and lung cancer, skin cancer even, than I do about this. Because I don't think, outside of Mom who didn't talk about it, I can't think of anybody. Well, also Nina's had something similar from Operation Nina. Which was the whole purpose of Operation Nina originally, was to help her get the money for her surgery and to help pay lingering medical bills. But I kind of lost my point. What was I talking about?
We were talking about
shock, how I felt about the cancer thingy. I got sidetracked and then I kind of lost like what was my original point. No, it's just, I knew as an in the, something that couldn't be avoided, it was just gonna happen eventually. So I wasn't really shocked or upset. I was just kind of like, well, it's time to punch cancer in the face. Really hard. And tell it to go fuck itself. Yeah. It's like, yeah, and this is the thing now. It was a little more upsetting, but not surprising, to be in the doctor's office today and told that's not just pre-cancer, but it's with cancer as well. Some places in there are just pre-cancer while others are in fact cancer. So that was a little upsetting because that means I went from a bad position to a worse position, but it's not the worst possible position.
It can still be dealt with.
Yeah. And he's like, given the stage it's in, and your age, he's like, it's probably not spread anywhere else yet. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, so if you have the hysterectomy, it's gonna most likely take care of everything. And then you won't ever have to worry about at least that type of cancer ever again. And, so, I mean, that's promising. He seemed very optimistic and sure, and, I don't know. My feelings are, it's not that I'm unoptimistic, it's just, I guess more like, well, we'll see. I know my luck.
You're taking it as it comes.
Yeah. And like, I know my luck, and so it might not be as simple as that. initially.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping for the best, and that this is all I'll need in regards to this, and then we don't have to worry about it again.
Right, just sort of making that deal with life. Right? You can have my womb.
Yeah.
Just get out.
Yeah. I'm just like, you know what? It's worth the sacrifice. Fuck cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Cause when Mom was going through all of that, I just kind of like, yeah, I guess I made my decision then. It's like, it didn't matter to me. Like, it sucks that I have to lose a piece of me, but if I have to do that to get over this bullshit, I'm gonna do it. Because I don't wanna be sick. I don't wanna have to make my family worry that I might die from something that I could easily take care of by just sacrificing what I don't need or use anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been, let's see, Mom had breast cancer. She had, again, I don't know precisely what it was. I'm just going to say similar to myself. And she had, and eventually succumbed to, lung cancer. My father had, throat cancer. My uncle, my mother's brother, had skin cancer, and he's recently had a reoccurrence of skin cancer on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
My father's sister, my only living aunt on his side, currently has lung cancer. I had a cousin who had leukemia. At least I'm pretty sure it's leukemia. I was too young to really be told the specifics, but my father thought I wasn't mature enough at that age, clearly, to not say something. So he's like, before we went in there, he's like, we're gonna have to have a talk. My grandfather had testicular cancer. I'm trying to remember everybody who's had some form of cancer in the family. I mean, granted, if it exists, my family's probably had it somewhere in the generations of us. So, I mean, there's like a test you can take to see like what kind of cancers you have the possibility of inheriting, like genetic testing. That's what I'm the person that testing is for, because
Right.
I've had countless family members with cancer.
No, I don't think I really know anybody who's gone through anything like this. My father's side of the family, I don't think cancer runs too deeply. My mother's side of the family, I never really got to know, so that's a mystery there. When I got diagnosed for my seizures, they asked, did anybody in your family? Not my father's side, but I know my mother's side likes to fuck goats, so there could be something there.
Okay.
So, no, I don't know. No, you're dealing with something I've got I'm rambling and saying uncomfortable things because I don't know what else to really say.
It's okay. I'll remember the one side of your family fucks goats forever and ever now.
You're welcome.
Would you like me to take that out of the recording?
No, it's fine. I don't like that.
Oh, okay, alright. Fair enough. Did you have any questions, Dave? That maybe I didn't talk about?
Well, my questions, especially when people have situations like this happen to them, I don't really have technical questions.
Yeah.
Like, okay, 5 holes, I can see that snip, I can see that snip, but what are the other 3? No, I don't usually, I'm not curious about that.
Yeah.
But, mine, sort of get to the questions like, how did you feel when this happened?
Yeah.
And, but the one I was thinking about is, if I recall correctly, you're a religious person, right?
I am.
Okay. Do you, when you get faced with the news like this,
Mm-hmm.
do you ever think, where is God in this? Why does he let things like this happen? Why is he letting it happen to me?
Yeah. Well, I have an answer for that.
Okay.
And,
go ahead.
no, I never think that because I know exactly where God is. God's in the doctor that I talked to today, and he's in the doctor that diagnosed me. He was in the surgery that I had on the 5th, and he's standing here with me now while I'm talking to my friend.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is he in the room? Oh.
I would say so.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, I thought you meant the doctor was in the room.
Oh, no, I'm talking. But see, what it was, and how I can so clearly answer that was, when my father had Alzheimer's. And, sometimes when he could think clearly enough, he would reflect on, his disease and his troubles. And, there was one day he was just, it just kind of came out of nowhere. He's just so angry. And, I don't even remember if I was originally having a conversation with him or not. I think I was fixing him something to eat. And, he was just mad about his situation and just exploded on me. And one of those things was like, where's God? Where's God right now? What's God done to help me? And I'm like, God's standing in front of you, Dad. Meaning, meaning he put me here to help you because this is a situation you need help with.
Right.
And if you didn't, or God didn't give a fuck about you, I don't think I would be here right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dad didn't say anything more. He went into his room. And as far as I know, he never said anything more about it.
Or is it in situations like this also? And you it sounds like you got it covered. The doctors are going to be able to help you, and they're going to be able to take care of it. They seem to sound, well, I'm hearing it third person from you, but they sound confident that they're going to be able to take care of this. Oh wait, where'd I go? Oh, okay. Yeah, it sounds like they're going to be able to take care of this, but anytime you're put under the knife, there's always that danger. You had mentioned before, anesthetics, there's, it's any routine operation. There's the danger you're just not going to wake up. And do you ruminate about your mortality or?
Sometimes. Because it would be untrue and dumb of me to say that I'm not scared. Because while I am a religious person, death is still scary. Because obviously I haven't experienced it before.
Right. And, well, human beings, any change is a little frightening. And that's a big one.
Yeah.
But myself, I'm convinced God exists. I'm not so sure about heaven or hell. And, just the idea of a drastic change like that is pretty upsetting and sometimes quite terrifying. But, how have you been coping? Or do you just, it's just something you put up with for a little while and then you push back to the back of your mind and, continue on?
Well, so far, since I didn't really know anything until really today.
I wasn't really thinking about it until now, Dave.
But I guess I have and haven't really thought about it. Just kind of like, well, there ain't much I can do except just keep doing what I've been doing, which is waking up, reading stupid fan fiction, having something to eat and drink, reading more stupid fan fiction, maybe occasionally reading a book, and going to work and sleeping. With the more serious diagnosis that I was told today about it, not just being pre-cancer, but cancer as well, it's a little more weighty, and I don't think mellowing is really the word I want to use.
Right. Is it humbling, do you think?
No, I'm trying to like go with my emotions, like not as maybe a little more downtrodden a bit. a touch because I realized the seriousness of it, and so that's put a damper on my spirit just a bit. But as the days go by, I'm probably going to return to normal.
Well, yeah, it goes with change being scary, but eventually change becomes the new normal.
Yeah.
And it stops being quite as frightening.
Yeah. But they were really nice. Everybody was very nice and friendly and supportive.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that really sucked today, aside from being told that it was actual cancer.
There was more.
Yeah. Well, he gave me a down there exam, and
oh, fun.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like for guys who have to like have the doctor check their asses, but it's probably equally as uncomfortable.
No, I think you've probably got the score there. I've been witness to what happens when my wife gets checked out.
Yeah.
And, no,
it's not it's not a pleasing feeling.
I have had the finger up the butt, but I can't say it at all compare. So
I'm having a lot of surgeries. I'm starting to realize.
Well, you're going to be nothing but spare parts before too long. I used to work with this guy. He had this old-timey truck, right?
Yeah.
And he would tell me one day that he had this truck ever since he was a teenager, and he was much older than I was. And he says, "Well, it's pretty amazing that it ran that long." And he says, "No, the frame is the only original part." I feel like this is maybe how you end up.
Well, if I become a cyborg, I promise I will take care of the world from crazy space invaders, evil criminals, and possible demons that come to invade us.
Be a nice cyborg, like Arnold Schwarzenegger or RoboCop. Not a bad cyborg.
Yeah. I swear on my cybernetic life that probably means I'm no longer actually alive. I'm a robot now. That I will protect everybody to the best of my ability. Somebody's gonna make an animation now where I'm a robot fighting aliens and shit.
As long as you keep your arm straight so the needle doesn't jump out.
Yeah. See that's the core part of cyborgs they don't tell you is that you have to keep your arms straight. So that makes punching really hard, but I mean, you could do other things like shoot rockets out of your chest or rocket up into the air from that jetpack on your back.
You know, pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
Plus, rockets out of the chest, you get to fly. Minus, catheter's always there.
But see, then I have a bag I can throw at my enemies and they're gonna be like, ew!
I don't think, well, is the switch for emptying RoboCop's bag up his ass?
Well, it might be. I mean, his memory was up his butt, so.
No.
Was it up his butt? Or no, I think he just had to have sex to release his memory.
Right. The trigger to release his memory was up his ass. If only I could take it up the ass to forget certain things, I might turn homosexual right now.
Well, Hushicho, I'm sure would oblige you. I mean, you guys have been to Arby's, so it's not that far of a stretch.
No, I suppose. Oh, excuse me. I suppose not.
Are you alright?
Yeah, just still. I think I'm gonna start coming down with a cold here pretty soon.
Ooh.
But, I shall endure, I'm pretty sure. It's not as if I'm getting my snatch mutilated, so.
Well, I don't know. I think things are gonna work out.
No, you don't need to respond.
I was like, can I think of something clever and witty? No, I'll just play it straight.
But, no, you'll be fine, I'm pretty sure. And, if you're not, then you'll be rich because you can sue them. So.
Well, I hope it doesn't have to come to that, though if they want to give me money, I'm more than happy to accept it. I mean, he's going to motherfucking Scotland. At least take me with you. I want to go see Scotland.
You have fun. I'll stay here.
Well, I have family origins in Ireland and Scotland, so.
Oh, okay.
So to me, it would be like, this is where my ancestors came from. Well, it doesn't look a damn thing like what they probably saw, but whatever.
I just hope he doesn't turn out to be one of those goofy kind of doctors where he's working on you, and then he says, ta-da, and he pulls a rabbit out from down there.
If I had... Then my first thought is, how did he get a rabbit in there?
Well, if he told
you,
it was magic.
But, I was just thinking earlier after I got out of the doctor's office, because, outside of the gynecologist doctor, my primary doctor and then the cancer doctor, I literally thought, why do all the doctors that I have, with the exception of the one, look like mad scientists? Like your stereotypical crazy generic mad scientist. Because like his hair is like all over the place. He's got like a bow tie on. He's wearing a nice suit, and he's not like weird or anything. He just looks like a crazy guy you would see on TV talking about how he just created clones of rattlesnakes or some shit.
Something like that, yeah. I can't say anything to that. All my most of my doctors have looked like members from Kids in the Hall, and none of them have seen the show.
Yeah.
So you look like that guy from the Kids in the Hall. The what? Do you have anything else? Because I don't have anything else.
I was trying to think if there's anything else I need to talk about. Oh, well, I guess somebody might be wondering if I'd have to do the chemo or radiation thing. And the doctor didn't think that was necessary.
No, it's usually for shrinking it and everything, but it sounds like they're just going to rip it out at the roots.
Yeah. So basically, we're assuming at this point it's all just in the reproductive parts. It hasn't gotten big enough or angry enough to spread to other parts of the body. So he's pretty confident that just with the hysterectomy, we should be good. And then, of course, I'd have follow-ups and all that to make sure everything is taken care of.
Right.